Hare Krishna. Gundicha Marjan occurred 500 years ago in Jagannath Puri in India, symbolizes the desire of Lord Chaitanya to cleanse our heart. 500 years ago, preparing for the festival of Rath Yatra, when the Jagannath deity leaves temple and travels to Gundicha, Lord Chaitanya, with the help of many other Vaishnavas, personally washed this temple to prepare it for the coming of the Lord. So we are also doing the same thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that He is in the heart of every living entity. Hrideshu Ajna Tishtati. I am in everyone's heart. So God is in our heart, at heart of everyone, all without exception. Now the trouble is that we do not see Him, we do not hear Him, we do not feel Him, and the reason for this, as explained in the Vedic scripture, is that our heart is too polluted. It is cluttered. So under the heart refines to human, so it is actually referring to the human consciousness. When it says that heart, it means our consciousness. In a pure consciousness, God already exists. God is connected to our consciousness. God is the source of our consciousness. We are always connected to Him. If our consciousness is pure, then we will be able to perceive Him. But dirty consciousness means consciousness separated from God, means the consciousness of a person who somehow opposed to God, who opposed himself to God. That is why we do not see Him. Like say I am turning back. So if I turn back, then we cannot see Him. So this is actually what is happening. Then people say there is no God, He is not here. So all we have to is to turn back to Him again. That is cleaning the heart, and is the preparation of our consciousness, of our heart, for meeting the God, for meeting Him inside our heart. So this is a long process, and the process that Krishna consciousness is helping people who want to do this to cleanse their heart. So there are many different ways for purification according to the Shastras. They help in purifying. However, because what happens to our consciousness is time and again it gets polluted again and again. The most important thing that a people needs cleansing the consciousness, because it gets dirty again and again. So consciousness attracts dirt. So like we have to clean our house regularly because it is attracting dirt. So when the dirt is in the mind, dirt is in the body, dirt, as the dirt we have to take bath every day to clean the dirt on the body. Similarly for the mind also. And the biggest secret, the biggest mystery is that person should understand is how we can clean our mind. And this is not a simple thing, because in the mind there are a lot of things. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how this process began. So he picks up broomsticks and some pots and he began to wash the temple. Now this process begins with the fact that we have to perform some activity, because generally this is one important lesson of Gundicha Marjan temple. Because in our although various schools of spiritual philosophy, they offer people to immediately immerse themselves in meditation, to offer they offer to teach people to meditate. But in our case we say that this is not possible right away. There must be a preliminary process, a quarantine, before our mind learns to meditate. Because to meditate is not very easy, because what happens is, like people who are trying to meditate, they do Gayatri 3 times in a day, they understands that it is very difficult, because when you sit for meditating, there is some other thoughts or some other vibrations, some whispering is happening in the mind constantly. So that is the reason. So everyone should begin with the fact that we uh, clean our consciousness, prepare for meditation. So our mind is too excited now. So there is so much in it. There are too many annoying factors that prevent a person from meditating. So the idea of meditating itself is interesting, because there are people who go to Himalayas and sit there in the caves. Now if we are put in the cave in Himalayas, and then we will not be able to do it for long. So most likely we may sit one day and we can come out, because this is a very important thing. The first thing is we have to first act and clean our heart by our action. So first thing is we have to start cleaning the temple. If you do something with hands and actions we are doing, it helps us to come out of these conditionings. So we, people come to temple, they clean the temple, because consciousness is gradually getting clean. It starts with the fact that we do something with our active senses, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he arranged this with all his devotees. He and there are very interesting things, like, first we have to clean the larger dirt. Now, the main dirt that in our heart which prevents a person from hearing God, the feeling God, is the dirt of material desires. And we hear from Acharyas, and Srila Prabhupada also explains that Gundicha Marjan, it is trying to clean material desires. So, all the desires to enjoy in this material world to the fullest extent, desire to take this world and squeeze out of it maximum that it can give. And in attempt to achieve this very unrealistic, illusory goal, people waste their time, waste their life. This is the first thing that a person must deal with this unreasonable, irrational material desire, which tears his heart to pieces. So, there are needles that are in our heart. Now, our consciousness is studded with needles, and therefore we are so uncomfortable. Every material desire pricks us. We are used to them, we love them, like if you tell to somebody who are not very spiritually practicing, you tell that that TV, the TV in general does nothing good, because the main task of TV is that it creates an inexhaustible source of material desires, and that lay in our heart. Now, to be exemplary members of modern civilization, we need to buy something all the time. This world will fall apart if we suddenly stop buying something. So, it rests on the sacred action, and now the TV is actually constantly giving, or now the mobile is constantly giving rise to material desires. The storm that rose, that comes in our heart because of this. And now these are the needles with which our heart and our consciousness stuck. They focus us to this stupid thing. They focus us, they tear our lives apart, prevent us from concentrating on something higher goal and understand our higher destiny. And we live in this consciousness, in this heart which is dying, in which there are many undesirable things. And therefore, the first thing to do from the very beginning is to understand that material desires, their rationalization have not made, the realization have not made anyone happy. So, who have material desires? Everybody has material desires. And how many of you became happy with that? We got some amount of happiness. It is not that, maybe a moment of happiness, but the mechanism of happiness that comes when a person fulfills material desire is that for a moment of material desire, it becomes, it is a very small, because happiness does not come because I fulfill my desires, but because it became less. That means the desire was so much agitating me. Once the desire got fulfilled, the agitation reduced. That is making me feel happy, because there are less excitement in the mind, less passion or some kind of anxiety in mind. So, as soon as I develop a desire, there starts some anxiety and some vibration, some restlessness, and all these things, they hit our mind. So, we want to somehow get this desire fulfilled, and once the desire fulfills, then the anxiety and the stress or whatever passion that reduces, and we feel some relief from it, and that relief we feel that as a happiness. And this is actually the world made its own wish. So, this is actually what happens, like now the first step is that comes when a person gradually cleanses the heart, is he began to understand that he does not need so much. And when we understand that we need much less than what we thought before, we immediately automatically become happier, because in general much less can be done. Like Socrates once said that wonderful thing about this world is that we need much less than what we think. That is really human. So, in general, not so much is needed, but that's not all, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed the temple, prepared it for the coming of Krishna. He washed it twice. The first time he called everyone, he gave everyone a mopping, broomstick, bucket, and then whatever the cleaning material, and there was initially they didn't use bucket but broomsticks and scoops, and then they try to remove all the things, because the Gundicha Temple, it is abandoned for one full year. Only for 15 days people on, but 10 days people just come take darshan. After that, it's all abandoned. So, what happens is, because it is abandoned, so much debt accumulated. So, in the same way, our heart or our consciousness abandoned for long time, and there had accumulated a lot of things, a lot of garbage. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he swept it all, he put everyone on the floor and said, now sit down and take a closer look. And he said, still a lot of garbage is left. So, there is a lot of, so first is a lot of gross garbage is there, and then there are finer things. So, there are two things. So, this symbolizes, the gross symbolizes a person, it is a gross garbage, that is it is sitting in our directly, like all these bad habits or any of these things. So, different thing that still, and then there are finer things. So, gross things is like meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and other so many material desires are there. So, they are there, and this is, then there comes the finer things, many other different things that still remain there, and this is a lot of things that in our heart even after gross desires are gone. So, there are much more subtler desires which we sometimes take as spiritual also. Sometimes we take the state, we feel everything is clean. No, there are even more subtle desires that we do not even, we don't even understand, and we don't allow the Lord to clean also. So, the more the subtle in nature, we are comfortable with them. So, when there is a lot of dirt, so like it is very subtle. Outwardly, it is demonstrated as generally what happens is, we tell Krishna to come in heart. We dress in appropriate clothes, we put tilak and kandimala, everything, all the signs of a devotee are there, and we chant also, and we have a very secret process. But in our heart there is still a lot of all sorts of nonsense. So, this is difficult for Krishna to enter, because there is no place there. So, like sometimes recently we have some in some areas in the city, we have some hotels, there will be welcome board, but it is so much crowded that you don't have any place to come in. People stand there outside 1 hour, 2 hours to get inside. So, there is no place there, no seat, it is just like so. Similarly, we have welcome board, but Krishna want to come, but we have no place for Krishna. So, there are no chairs for him to come and sit. So, Krishna, even if he wants to enter, is trying to open it, but sometimes they are closed also. So, this is actually our unfortunate situation. So, we say, Krishna, you come, but I still, there are so many things I want along with Krishna. So, that is actually in essence, we are indirectly telling, I don't want God, I want something else. So, that is the next level of dirt, is the problems that a person is even more difficult to deal with, because they have a much more subtle nature. That is why Prabhupada explains that the meaning of Gundicha Lila, even if we did the first purge and expelled some gross material desires, but there are subtle desires that are left, then Krishna, even if he comes there, he still is uncomfortable to our heart. So, because he himself is also very subtle, so he needs something very clean, otherwise he don't come. That is, Krishna is much more subtler. So for him, he gets affected. Affected in the sense he wants something very clean. So that's why sometimes a person remains a desire for mystical perfection. A person is practicing yoga, they sit and do all this Padmasana and trying to but people are trying to concentrate on consciousness with the help of various mystical methods. They are trying to somehow get into some kind of asana, but more subtle desires remain inside. These subtle desires come down to the desire for subtle power, glory, subtle domination of this world. So if you go to the esoteric shops, to shops that seems to teach spirituality, and see if we take any book from the shelf, we will probably, if you close our eyes and scratch it, take some book and open it, it will be like it will teach what? It will teach subtle egoism. It will say how to achieve something using these methods. So basically they are trying to teach achieve something by using this. So ordinary people try to achieve this with honest methods. What is that? To get money, to get some name, to get beautiful body, this, that. And when people come to spirituality, they tell you get the same thing, but you do in a subtle way. So you do with the help of spirituality. So this is actually, we try to achieve the same thing, but in a more subtle way. So very, and all this esotericism, new age religions, all these things, many different big gurus and other people who will teach the same thing. They will teach how to use God to achieve their desires. Basically they are using God to achieve their desires. So we try to do it. This is, but if we are honest, instead it is better to do like general people than to cheat. There are many tricks. People try to various method, various complex techniques, various subtle energies that act in this creation. In fact, they achieve the same quite ugly goals only, the same domination, the same glory, the same power. When these desires remain in the heart, then Krishna cannot come. So grossly I have given up, so I can show I am spiritual, but certainly I am still cultivating the desires. That's why Krishna is not able to come, because he cannot sit in our heart. So the most subtle desire, the most subtle manifestation of material desire is desire for glory. So this is after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected large piles of mud to take them out of the temple, he made everybody sit down and say, now look carefully at what else remains. Take a closer look, and he says that no, it will prevent our heart from cleaning. So the meaning of this is that we all have to go deeper in our heart until I see all this in my heart and understand that these are obstacles for me to achieve the highest goal, and this is what prevents me from finding God. So if I find God, I will find everything. I don't need anything else. If I have Krishna, I won't need anything. I won't need even because Bhagavan according to Parashar Muni is who has 6 opulences, who has all glory, all knowledge, all beauty, all strength, all power, all renunciation. What else is? All wealth is there. So we all want wealth, we all want all the 6 opulences, maybe except for renunciation. And who don't want wealth, who don't want beauty, who don't want glory, everybody want except for renunciation. So we can obtain all these things, but these are the things that attract people, these are the things that make a person attractive. And Parashar Muni defines God as one who possesses all this, and when I have God, I have everything else. When I know that God is in my heart, when I am with Him, when I am then He is with me, then I don't need anything else. But I want not God, but something from God, something that He can give me, then in general we are deceiving ourselves. And when we chant the mantra, we must remember very carefully that the essence of my the essence of spirituality is that when we chant mantra, This is the most powerful way to cleanse our mind. We must remember very well that when we can achieve just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is actually the way to cleanse. It will make consciousness pure only when I see something that we need to get rid of with the help of this mantra. So mantra is like our mopping also, mopping stick. It is the mantra is non-different from Krishna, but in this pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave someone, he is a brooming stick also. While chanting, you should do. You come, distribute everyone, and along with that, chant Hare Krishna. He came and gave this mantra to clean our heart, wipe our heart. But we will make it completely clean when we understand what dirt is, right? So we have to wash means we should know what is dirty, because there are different degrees of purity. Someone will wash and it seems so clean at first glance, but then somebody comes, they can clean much more nice. So so we should know very well what we should wipe from the heart, for which we should not hold our heart, which interferes with our heart, which defiles our heart, our consciousness, and our consciousness defiled firstly by some gross material desires for its own sake, and secondly by subtle desires. So these are the pratisthasha, there is jiva himsa and kutinati. So there is hypocrisy, duplicity, and then there is violence to other living entities. So all these things are there, so which we have to come out of it. So in the beginning we are cleaning of our rudest thing. We stop eating meat and people who are taking drugs or illicit connections, this that, we get rid of them. But then there are subtle. So this is hypocrisy. So it kutinati, this is hypocrisy. This is subtle impurity in our heart, or hypocrisy. When we say one thing, think another thing, do another thing. So when we do something, speak something, so we do not have integrity in our actions. And the next one is pratisthasha, the desire for glory, a desire to stand out, the desire to deserve something. And the next is jiva himsa. Jiva himsa means the pain that we inflict on other beings, the suffering that we continue to inflict on other living entities. And this can ideally be done under the guise of spiritual practice also. So we can be hypocrite doing spiritual practice, and then we can have this, people come specifically for this purpose, to get some good name, and so like that, all this is very subtle condition of our heart. The second layer, the second level of purification of heart, that should happen. So in order for us to clean our heart of this, we must know very well that what this dirt is. This is not just an ornament of our heart, it is not just a pattern of our mirror. These are the patterns, but these patterns are like files that are left in our heart. The heart itself must be perfectly pure, consciousness must be perfectly pure. Purify our consciousness means consciousness in which there is no desire. That is the desire. So I want to find Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, na dhanam na janam na sundari kavitam va jagadisha kamahe mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhakti rahetu. So where he explains that I do not need anything, na dhanam na janam na sundari. So I do not need any of these things, I don't want followers. So he just says that I just want to serve you, Lord. So Bhaktivinoda explaining, he says that the reason why it is so bad, so why it is so bad having all these things, he says that because if a person has attachment in his heart, he will never be able to understand his true spiritual form or swarupa. These material attachments will prevent us from forming our eternal spiritual self, and we will be blinded by these attachments and all this in the spiritual world. So we will be in this samsara only. So we will be constantly be reborn here from one attachment to another attachment, and we will never understand who really I am. So, this is actually what happens. So, this Gundicha